Hello yogis. Today I have a 14-minute video for you. I have made a video that you can do in the morning or in the evening. To be honest, it's very much to your convenience. We're going to bring some relief to the body through lengthening and strengthening. And I want you to let me know how this feels in the comments, and if you'd like or if you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to see on here. Come to a comfortable seated position with your shins crossed in front of you. If this feels uncomfortable, you can have the legs extended out like so. Otherwise, let's begin. I want you to relax the shoulders and sit tall, extending through the crown of your head. Find a comfortable position for your arms and close your eyes. On your inhale, I want you to expand into the ribs. Long, deep breath in. And when you're ready, take a long, deep breath out through the mouth. Again, inhale. I want you to think about your lower side ribs. You can actually push them open a bit more with your breath, keeping the shoulders down as you expand and exhaling deeply when you're ready. So we're just going to stay still for a moment, settling into our bodies. And don't worry too much if your eyes are still fidgeting. Just keep your awareness in the breath, the feeling in the chest as you expand, the feeling in the ribs as you expand, and feeling your entire front body collapse on your exhale. Now bring your awareness to the space between your eyebrows. Take a sharp inhale through your nose. Relax the shoulders and hold your breath. Try to hold for as long as you can. Otherwise, if you're ready, take a long, deep exhale. Now let's try that one more time. With the awareness in the space between your eyebrows, take a sharp inhale through your nose. Now exhale deeply. Good job. Now gently open your eyes. Sit tall. Plant your hands in front of you as you walk the palms away from your body. Relaxing your forehead down towards the ground. I want you to soften the base of your skull. So we're just letting the head hang freely here. Soften through the elbows, the palms. You might feel an initial pull at the back of your neck. I want you to try to relax into it. It's tempting to eject, but I want you to try to keep softening, taking long, deep breaths in, expanding into the back muscle. So the same way you expand into the ribs, I want you to think about expanding to the upper back muscles before exhaling deeply. Literally feel the ribs at the back of the body expand before releasing. Now take one more long deep breath in. And a long deep breath out. Now gently lift the head and walk your hands back towards you. Now we're going to take that right hand behind us. The left hand is going to come to the right knee as we gently twist to the right side of the room. Now don't worry too much about looking all the way back. Just find a comfortable position. You see how my right elbow is slightly bent so that I can deepen more into the extension. Now come forward. Taking the left hand behind you, lift your chest. Right hand comes to the left knee and gently twist to the left side. Relaxing the shoulders, softening the knees. Soften your hips too. So make sure we're not squeezing anything in the lower belly or in the lower body. Gently release. And now we're going to move into tabletop, bringing your palms directly below your shoulders. On your inhale, we're going to drop the belly, lift the head, extending through the spine, through the crown of your head, lifting the chest. Exhale to round the mid-back, tuck the chin in towards the chest. The lower belly is pulled in, the pubic bone is reaching in towards the navel. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin in towards the chest. I'm pushing the ground away from me so my mid-back can reach towards the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale to round the spine. Now gently release. We're going to extend the right leg long, point the toes. So make sure the hip bones are facing the mat as you exhale to lift that back leg. Deep breaths. And if it's accessible to you, I want you to extend that left hand long. So your right leg and your left hand are lifted. Pull the belly in towards the spine to protect the back. So we're not arching in the back here. I want you to stay tall. Gently release down. Now extend the left leg. Point the toes. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Exhale to lift. And remember, I don't want you to be opening towards the left side. I want your hip bones facing the mat. Now extend the right hand. And release down. Good. Now come to face the long edge of your mat. We're going to extend the right leg long. Plant the right hand down. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale to extend the left hand towards the sky first. Then exhale down towards the right side. Keep your chest open. Keep that left arm by your ear. And remember, the belly is still pulled in as we breathe into the left side of our torso. See how my left hand is actively reaching away. Good job. Now release. And let's move on to the other side. Extend the left leg long. Pull the navel in. Inhale to lift the right hand. And exhale down towards the left. Remember, the chest is open towards the sky. The arm stays by the ear. The navel is pulled in. Breathing deeply into the right side of our torso. Creating length and release. Now we're going to come back into tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes under and lift into downward facing. I want you to widen the fingertips, reaching the heels down towards the mat. It's okay if your heels don't touch the mat today. I just want you to make that motion so we can lengthen the back of our hamstrings. I'm pushing the ground away from me so that the chest is reaching towards the front thighs. And if this feels a little bit uncomfortable at the back of the knees, I want you to keep a slight bend in the knees. You still feel the benefits of the stretch, but without excruciating pain. Now lift the head. We're going to come to the front of our mats, coming into a half forward bend. So there's a gentle extension in the spine here. I don't want you to round the back. I want you to roll the shoulders away from the ears. You should be feeling it in the back of those hamstrings. And fold into a full forward bend. And remember, if the back of the knees are screaming, we keep a micro bend, pulling the chest gently towards the thighs, letting the head hang freely. Now release the upper body. We're going to take that left hand to our right shin, bending the left knee. Extend the right hand towards the sky or the ceiling. Keep your chest open. Keep the navel drawn in. And if you want to deepen the stretch, you can lower the left hand. Otherwise, stay where you are. Now exhale to release all the way down. Taking the right hand to the left shin now, bending the right knee. I want you to extend the left hand towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. Keep the chest open towards the ceiling. Pull the navel in. Deep breaths. And remember, if you want to deepen it, you lower the right hand. You can even come to the ground if you have the flexibility at the back of your legs. If it feels like it's screaming, come a little higher. Find what works and exhale down. Now inhale as you come all the way up to standing. Bring your arms overhead, gazing towards your thumbs. Lift, 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 and exhale to release everything down. Good. All right, pardon me. I want you to evenly distribute your weight between both feet. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Exhale to fold into a full forward bend, grabbing the back of your shins, relaxing your head towards the ground. And remember, if the back of the knees feel uncomfortable, we can keep a micro bend. Now inhale to lift the head. Bend the knees, plant the hands down. On your exhale, we're going to step back into our high plank. Breathe normally here. I want you to bring the shoulders over the wrists. Hold here. Pulling the navel in towards the spine, squeezing the glutes slightly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees and come onto your chest. My palms are below my shoulders, and I want you to bring the elbows beside the ribs as you lift gently into cobra. So here the shoulders are away from the ears, the neck is long, your chest is reaching forward, and press back into downward facing. Heels coming down towards the mat, fingertips are wide. We're gently pushing our chest towards the front thighs here. Deep breaths. Now lift the head and come to the front of the mat again. Coming into a half forward bend. Now fold into a full forward bend. Getting into those yummy, yummy, yummy hamstrings. And gently inhale to come all the way up to standing. Lift the arms overhead, gazing towards the thumbs. And exhale to release. Good. Again, inhale to lift. Exhale to fold into a full forward bend. Inhale to lift the head, bend the knees, plant the hands down. We're going to step that right leg back. So you see how I have a wide stance, and my back toes will turn to face the long edge of the mat, and my feet are flat, especially my back foot is flat. Inhale as you lift the arms overhead. Your chest is facing the direction of your front thighs. Only go as deep as is comfortable. Keep that back leg straight, so try not to bend in the back knee. Planting the hands down, we're going to step that right leg forward, coming into a half forward bend, then a full forward bend, and inhaling to come up, arms come overhead, exhale to release. Now for the other side, inhale to lift, exhale to fold, inhale to lift the head, bend the knees, plant the hands down. Now the left leg is going to go back, and the back toes will face the long edge of the mat. The foot is flat. As we inhale to lift the arms overhead, breathing deeply. The lower belly is pulled in and your tailbone is slightly tucked under to protect the spine. Plant the hands down. We're going to step back into our high plank, coming onto our knees, chest and chin. Elbows are locked in as we lift into cobra. Now send the hips back. We're going to widen the knees. Bring the big toes to touch. Send the hips back. So I'm sinking as deep as I can as I walk the hands forward. So you see how I'm still sinking between the hips to rest the forehead on the mat. And if having your knees as wide as they are right now feels uncomfortable, I want you to close or shorten the distance. Soften your head. Soften through the arms. Soften the shoulders. Allow your hips to feel heavy. Now, in your yoga practice, in this class, any class you find yourself, this pose is the rest pose called child's pose. And if at any point you feel like you just need a moment, you need to catch your breath, you feel overwhelmed, or you simply just want to pause, it doesn't matter what me or your other instructor is doing, you can retire to this pose. It just lets us know that you need a moment to yourself. And when you're ready, lift the head, walk the hands back. By the way, if you were really enjoying that child's pose and you feel like you want to stay longer, you can pause this or not and just continue. Coming back into tabletop and lifting into downward facing. Deep breaths. Now we're going to be stepping the right leg forward in between the hands. If it's not this far, I want you to shuffle the leg forward. Make sure the knee is above the ankle. Turn the back toes to face the long edge of the mat. Again, and inhale, lift into warrior two with your right hand in front of you. We are gazing over the right fingertips. Strong legs here. My back toes still facing the long edge. My back knee is not bending. It's straight. Deep breaths. Now take that left hand to your lower back and reach all the way behind you for reverse warrior. My right side ribs are open towards the sky. Now come forward. Bring the right elbow onto that right knee. Open the chest towards the left side and extend that left hand overhead. Do you see how it's not reaching towards the ceiling? It's tilted towards the wall in front of me. And here we are in the pose called extended side angle. Deep breaths. Now come back down and step back into downward facing. For the other side, extend the left leg forward in between the hands. The back toes face the long edge of the mat. And we're coming to warrior two on the left side now with the left hand in front of us. Finding as much depth as we can in those hips. Deep breath. And again, my tailbone is tucked under to protect my spine. Now take that right hand to your lower back and reach behind you with the left hand, opening your left side ribs towards the sky. And if you'd like, you can get a deeper bend in those front thighs. And come forward, bring the elbow onto the knee, open your chest, and extend the right hand. So you see, it's not towards the ceiling. It's at an angle. Perfect. One long line from the fingertips to the toes. Come back down. Stepping the right leg forward. Coming into a half forward bend. Whew. Full forward bend. Deep breaths. And inhale up again. Arms come overhead. And exhale to release. Good job. Again, inhale. Lift all the way overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lift your head. Bend the knees. Plant your hands down. We're stepping the left leg back. But the back toes will stay facing forward, sorry. And we're lifting gently into a high lunge. Now this is a bit tricky, so be gentle with yourself. If you find yourself falling over, I want you to think about reaching the heels down towards the mat. Deep breaths. If the arms feel tired, you can catch the waist. Otherwise, keep the arms lifted and drop the back knee. On your inhale, I want you to extend, going for a very gentle back bend. Just find as much of an arch as you can get from the upper back. Don't worry too much about going too deep. Bring the hands on top of the front knee and allow gravity to open up those hips. Deep breaths. Again, bring the arms overhead on your inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to the right, bringing the left palm to the right knee. Right hand touches the back of the left thigh. And we're pressing gently with that left hand onto the right knee to twist the spine. And remember, don't worry too much about looking all the way back if that feels uncomfortable. Find what works for you and stay there. Good. Now bring the palms to the ground. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can grab a set of blocks. And if you don't have blocks, you can use shoe boxes. Get creative. Find something in your house that works. There's always something in the house that can be used. So for today, I will grab these blocks. So the leg is in the center. It's not towards the right side. It's in the middle, sinking low. Now I want you to lift the left toes. So peel the toes off the mat. Send your hips back. And without moving the hands too much, I want you to just use the lower belly, pull the lower belly in. See how much of an extension we can get in that right hamstring. The toes are reaching towards the ceiling. Deep breaths. And if this feels too comfortable, you can lower the hands to the ground and bring the forehead down towards the knees. Otherwise, stay as high as you are. Find exactly what works for you and stay there. Again, sink forward in towards the hip. Allow gravity to open up those hips. And again, if you don't need the blocks, plant your hands on the ground, whichever works for you today. One more time, send the hips back, toes peeling back towards you. See how much of an extension you can get in that right hamstring. And remember, if having it all the way down like this is uncomfortable, keep a micro bend in the knees. I keep mentioning this because it's not supposed to be excruciating. And from here, we're going to walk the hands back, come to sit on the mat, and bring that left heel in towards our groin. So let me turn to you so you can see what I'm doing. The heel is not under the thigh, it's in towards the groin. Good. And I want you to sit tall. If you can, move your bum out of the way. And if sitting like this feels uncomfortable and you feel like you're rounding in the spine too much, grab a block or a pillow and put it under your bum. It helps to keep the spine more in alignment. Good. Inhale to lift the arms overhead. Turn the chest to face the outstretched leg. And exhale to fold over the front thighs. Soften the arms. Soften the back of the neck. We're not pulling or pushing anything in this gravity-assisted stretch. And if you feel like this is where you are today and you're wondering why you're not coming down, don't worry too much about that. Yoga is a practice, and with everything that you practice, you only progress. So don't worry too much about how high you are today. Just release the upper body over the front thigh and breathe deeply into the upper back muscles, your entire back actually. So remember, the same way we're inhaling to expand into the ribs, I want you to think about inhaling to expand into the back. Long deep breath in. Long deep breath out. Now inhale to lift your head. We're going to walk the hands back towards us. And we're going to come back into downward facing to repeat the other side. And now we'll be extending the left, bringing the left foot in between our hands. The back toes will still keep facing forward. We're not turning it this time because we're moving into a high lunge. And remember, be gentle with yourself if you find yourself wobbling. And if the arms are tired, just catch the waist, dropping the back knee, and inhaling to find a gentle back bend. Exhale, come forward, plant the hands on the front thighs, allow gravity to open up those hips. It could feel a bit overwhelming, but I want you to be gentle. Even if you're going to eject, do it for a few moments, but come back to me. And again, plant your hands on the ground. And remember, if this feels like you can't reach the ground, grab blocks, pillows, books, anything. Make your practice work for you. Now I want you to lift the left toes back towards you. So the toes are off the ground, the heel is on the ground. As we send the hips back and see how much of an extension we can get in that left hamstring. And remember, if having it all the way straight feels overwhelming, keep a micro bend in the knees. Otherwise, enjoy. And if you feel like you want to deepen, you can lower the hands to the ground and lower the forehead towards the knee. But one thing that I don't want you to do is overextend, because that is a disservice, and injury means you can't practice. So be gentle. Sink forward one more time. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So the right hand is coming to the left knee, and the left hand is on the back of the right thigh. Gently pressing that left hand into the knee so we can twist as deep as is comfortable. And remember, if you can't look all the way back, just a gentle turn to the left side suffices. Come forward. And plant the hands down one more time, lifting the left toes back towards you. and finding as much of an extension as is possible. Deep breaths. And remember, find the depth that works for you. You can always go as deep, even removing your hands from the ground, grabbing the shin. Otherwise, stay where you are. Sink forward for the last time. Breathe here. Enjoy the stretch in the inner thighs. It's okay if you're not enjoying it. These muscles are the ones that shorten the fastest because we sit on them. So they need a lot of love. Because we tend to trap our, negative emotions in our groin. So that's why it's important, if you can, if it's accessible to you, to practice hip openers. Now send the hips back, walk the hands back. And we're going to bring that right heel in towards our groin like we did on the first side. And remember, if you needed a block or a pillow to sit on to help with extending the spine more, please do. Otherwise, remember the heel is not under the thigh. I want you to sit tall. I'm moving my bum out of the way so my sit bones can be on the ground to allow my spine extend properly. Inhale to bring the arms overhead. Turn the chest to face the outstretched leg. Exhale to fold. Relax the arms. Relax the base of the skull. Relax the shoulders. Let everything drop freely. Deep, intentional breaths. Inhale to expand into the back. Exhale. And remember, like always, if the back of the knee is screaming, you keep a micro bend in every single pose. I want you to try to find modifications that feel good. Just because something is an instruction doesn't make it universal. It doesn't matter where you are, even if it's in a practice with anywhere you are, if you feel uncomfortable in a pose, I want you to ask for modifications or even just to be put into a different one entirely. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make your body any less of anything. Honoring your body is doing what works best for you. You will find that your head naturally lowers with the longer the inhales are here. So long, deep breath in. If you can even hold the breath for a while before you exhale, you find that you soften, your shoulders soften, your body softens. Now inhale to extend. Walk your hands back. And we're going to come to lie on our chest. Just to quickly bring some love to the back of the body. I want you to lie back, planting the palms. Sorry, lie on the chest. Planting the palms under the shoulders. We're going to lift the chest on the inhale. Pulling the pubic bone in towards the navel, squeeze your glutes and lift both legs if that's accessible to you. Breathe here, so we're not pressing into the palms too much. Just some assistance. And if this is okay, I want you to release the hands. And breathe for 5, 4, squeeze, 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 3, 2, 1. Release everything down. Soften the head towards the ground. I'm not on my chin, I'm on the side of my face. Relaxing the shoulders. And we're going to do that one more time. Palms under the shoulders, elbows in. Lift the chest. Squeeze the glutes, lower belly in, and lift the legs. Hold here, and if it's comfortable, extend the hands. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Deep breaths. For the last one, I want you to bend the shins like so. If it's accessible to you, grab onto the ankles or the sides of the feet, whichever works best today. And on your inhale, we are going to lift the chest and we're pushing the feet into the hands. Good. So we're not pulling the feet into our body, we're lifting. 3, 2, 1. Release. Good. Some deep breaths here to steady the pulse. Now very gently bring the hands under the shoulders, lift the head. And we're going to come into your final set of downward facing. We're going to bend into that right knee. So the shin is in front of the left knee and the toes are pointed towards the left side. And we're going to bring that knee behind the right wrist. It's important that you land the right knee behind the right wrist and extend the left leg back. Let's just go as deep as is comfortable first. And it's super tempting for our hip to start to fall to that right side, but I want you to stay centered so the hip is off the ground. Inhale to extend the chest forward. And on your exhale, we're going to walk the hands forward, coming onto the forearms first. And if you feel like your forearms aren't coming to the ground, place a pillow or a block under the forearms. And if you feel like you can get a deeper stretch here, walk the hands forward and bring the forehead to the ground. I want you to stay exactly where it works for you. If this feels overwhelming, please come onto the elbows and stay there. This is one of those poses that I love doing, especially after any glute exercise, because it really gets into the base of your bum, the back of the thigh. Some people feel it in the lower back too, because it's also a great lower back stretch. Wherever you're feeling it today, I want you to honor it by breathing deeply into that space. So the same way we breathe into the ribs, if you actually close your eyes, you can send your breath to problematic areas. So the same way you expand into the ribs, I want you to think about sending your breath to your groin. And very gently coming onto the palms. Inhale to extend the chest forward. And on the exhale, we're going to come back into tabletop. Breathe normally here. And that right leg that we just folded, I just want you to extend it back. It's on the ground, it's not lifted. And just rock back and forth. Let's get some blood flowing into that right leg. And for your final downward facing, we're going to come back. And this time we're bending into the left knee. The shin is in front of the right knee. The toes are pointed. And we're going to bring that knee behind the left wrist, sliding that right leg back. If you have a mirror in front of you, you can actually make sure that that back leg is aligned. So if you can see the back leg from where you are, shuffle it inside. Extend the right leg back. Inhale to extend the chest forward. Exhale to fold. And remember, we start on the forearms. And if your hips are falling to that left side, I want you to come to the center, or you can place a block or a pillow under the hip so that it doesn't fall to the side. Breathe here. And remember, if you want to deepen it, you can bring the forehead down. I'm just going to keep the head elevated right now so it doesn't block the microphone. Deep breaths. This was my most challenging pose when I first started the practice. I wasn't actually even on my forearms, funny enough, but now I'm pretty much comfortable in it. So I can understand if you're having difficulties finding a way to settle or stay still. I want you to know that it does get easier. You do eventually find stillness. You just need to keep coming back here. Now come onto the palms and very gently, we're going to come back into tabletop. Extend that left leg, just rock back and forth. Good. Now, for your final active pose, I want you to come into kneeling, like so. Tuck your back toes under. Your knees about hip distance apart. I'm going to lift the shirt so that you can see what I'm doing with the lower body. Hold the navel in towards the spine. I'm placing the hands under the ribs so that I understand what motion I'm making. Elbows are in towards each other. I want you to lift the chest. So don't start arching from the lower back. We're lifting the chest towards the sky first. Going as deep as we can. So keep lifting from the upper ribs. And then if it's accessible to you, grab one heel. See how my toes are tucked under? And then you can grab the other heel. And when it's comfortable, you tilt the head back. Otherwise, if that does not feel comfortable, keep the chin tucked in. Keep reaching the hips forward as you lift the chest towards the sky. And if both hands are not coming down towards the heels, just grab one heel and extend the other hand. Deep breaths. And then you can reach for the other one, extending the opposite arm. And when you want to come out of this pose, you bring the hands to the lower back and lift. And after this pose, every time you do this pose, we have to return to child's pose to sit on the shins, send the hips back, send the head forward towards the ground, release the arms by the sides, let the shoulders drop freely. Deep breaths. Now I want you to be intentional with this particular part. If you feel like your knees, your forehead is not reaching the ground, you widen the knees even further. And if they're not stiff, your forehead is still not reaching the ground, you can place a pillow or a block under the forehead because you're supposed to surrender in this pose. I don't want you pulling or pushing anything. Soften the neck by finding what works for you. Breathe deeply, releasing the sacrum, releasing the entire back. Now lift your head, and we're going to come to lie on your back. I want you to extend the legs out in front of you, widen the arms in a T shape. I'm going to lift the knees into our chest, and we're dropping the knees to the left side. This is called a supine twist. It's a spinal twist that we use to round up most of our classes. So this is a pose that I like to do in bed when I wake up in the morning or before I go to bed, just to bring some relief to my spine. I want you to soften through your shoulders. We're going to turn the head to the right side. If that doesn't feel comfortable, keep the head facing the ceiling. Just make sure you don't turn the head to face the direction where the knees are facing. This is the part of the class that I call the thank you to your body part, where we just unwind and bring relief. Now we're going to bring the knees back into center. We're going to drop them to the right side. Turn your head to the left. And remember, if that doesn't feel comfortable, you face the ceiling or the sky, but you don't turn your head to face where your knee is facing. Deep, resonant breaths. I want you to soften the hips, soften the side of your waist. Soften the arms, the shoulders, and just breathe deeply. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you for moving your body. Thank you for letting it happen to you, because a lot of the time the practice is the practice, but it only finds you if you let it. So you gave it permission. And now we're going to come on to our back. We're going to extend our legs long in front of us. Find a comfortable position for the arms. So you can have the arms in the T shape where we started, or you can bring them closer to the body. Palms facing the ceiling. So find what works for you. Keeping your eyes closed. From the top, we're going to soften the forehead muscles. Soften the cheeks. Soften the jawline, relaxing the tongue and the nostrils. Soften the back of your neck, soften your shoulders. Soften the arms, the forearms, the fingertips. Soften the chest, soften the chest, soften the stomach. Soften your groin, so make sure you're not squeezing anything. Think about the thighs, the shins, let them splay out. Soften the toes. Allowing yourself to become heavy on the mat. Breathing deeply into the chest. Now, if you'd like, you can pretty much stay here for the rest of the session, even after this video ends, because I understand how relaxing this pose can be. And when you're ready, I want you to roll onto your side. And we're going to come up. So make sure you're not sitting up straight, your head might spin. Into a comfortable seated position with your shins crossed in front of you. If that feels comfortable, relax the shoulders and close your eyes. Bring your awareness to the space between your eyebrows and take a sharp inhale through your nose. Hold the breath. Now exhale. Open your eyes. Namaste.